Aloha, I'm Aja Eyre, and this is the Maui Pono Network weekly update for the week of February 19th. Welcome, and we appreciate you joining us. We'll just get right into it. We're going to start at the state this week. So lots and lots of bills. This is the legislative season, lots of bills to watch. One in particular, you might have seen there was a Civil Beat article about it. It was sent in by Senators Dela Cruz and our own Senator McKelvey from the West Side. And this is Senate Bill 3381. And it establishes what's called the Lele Community District Board, but it basically is a district board that would govern all the West Side. So even for all the way up to the north end and all the way down to like McGregor Point. So the whole West Side over there. And what this district board would do is it would be given the powers of planning, approval, eminent domain, basically be like a major governing board for the West Side. And this would be overseen by the state, not the county, and it would consist of 9 community members, so people that are from the West Side, and they just be given this power, then overseen by the state. This is, I think, in attempts to prevent like poor development or non-community minded redevelopment of the burn areas. It's supposed to promote more healthy living conditions there, creating more modes of transportation options, making sure there's a community focus. So it has a good heart behind it, but there's some major concerns with this Senate Bill 3381. Some of the current concerns that have been brought up is that this is governed by the state. So they would not necessarily have to answer to the county. So there's questions about, would they be beholden to county planning rules? Would they be beholden to county concerns? Would local people actually be able to contribute to this conversation besides the 9 people on the board, because they would just answer to the state and the state would oversee them. There's also some questions about giving a governing board this much power. And there's also questions about having it be elected, which I found interesting, but there were a number of people who have testified saying, if you have a board of just elected officials, then a lot of money goes into those elections. Other concerns that Maui Pono Network has is that for the first 2 years, so starting from when this bill could potentially pass, so sometime here soon, it would be an appointed board appointed by the governor solely. And we don't have a lot of faith in Governor Green's ability to choose the best people for everything right now. We're not seeing that he's taking a lot of community input on who's chosen for positions that are being appointed, and that he's probably having to answer to the Democratic Party leadership. And so so basically gives the Democratic Party leadership the control over this board. And for the next 2 years will probably be the most important time of this governing board as they plan for redevelopment of the Lahaina burn zone areas. So that's a big concern. So we have some questions like, why couldn't they be elected right now? If this passed soon enough, there'd be ample time to get an election going and get people elected for 2024 instead of having them appointed immediately. So some questions about that. It would take a lot of effort by everybody. The clerk would probably not be happy that we said that. Lots of questions. I recommend that you actually go look this up. Just type in Hawaii Senate Bill 3381, read through the bill yourself, express your concerns. Senator McKelvey, even though he was the one who authored the bill, he had some concerns as well when it came up in committee. So we're going to be watching this because this could potentially be kind of the biggest deal on the West Side over the next 2 years if it passed. I mean, I'm kind of imagining like worst case scenario, this passes exactly as it is, and they have all this power, and it's people that don't have Lahaina's best interests at heart or whatever, or the state kind of takes over what the county is supposed to be governing, and it could go very, very poorly. It could go great, it could go very poorly. But as it's written now, it gives a lot of opportunity for it to go very poorly. So keep an eye on that. All right, let's talk about the county. Here at Maui Pono Network, we have people here on our board in the leadership that spend hours and hours a week going through all of the community meetings, the county meetings, county committee meetings, We're really concerned with the sunshine laws that are kind of being still ignored post-COVID. Also, just a real lack of hustle when it comes to getting meeting minutes out, making sure videos are available. Videos are available on Facebook. They're not available on the county website to be able to watch those other meetings. And the county doesn't seem to be using the capabilities that other government organizations and nonprofits use AI to really gather minutes and to get those out to the public right away. So it's really hard right now if you do not sit and watch the whole meeting, find out what was voted on, who voted for what, and things like that. So we do our best to devote the time to that, but we would like to just send out a call to the county that people are noticing that these sunshine laws and just good governance practices are not being followed, and that the public is not really invited to participate because we're continually meeting hurdles to participation in the governance process, in that the information is not made available. So, this is a concern, and if you know people in county government, this is a good thing to bring up with them. And we'll continue to push from our side, and we encourage you to do the same. Some of the other concerns is, like, for example, Tosh Kama is a committee leader. You can't get her to respond to any questions about the committee meetings that she's having. Written testimony isn't being published. The list goes on and on. Major concerns there, but I'm going to let you know what we are able to find out and what we've been able to get a hold of on February 16th. So last Friday, there was a county council meeting. There were more than 15 bills presented there. A lot of them were budget amendment bills. There were 4 bills just about changing ag land into urban or industrial land. There was a lot of testimony about workforce housing bills that were in there. So it was a lot of land use and land use designation issues at that last one. A lot of things actually didn't go to vote, so they were kind of just brought up, or they were in first reading. But that's what was happening last week in the county. There's committee meetings this week, and we'll have those down here in the email. You can see those important committee meetings. Other things happening in the county right now, Olawalu, we're still keeping an eye on what protocols are being followed and making sure that the disposals are going well. And the bad news is they're not. Even just today, the winds are far above 35 miles per hour, and they're still operating, even though the protocols say that when the winds are stronger than that, they shouldn't be operating, because then the particles, the fine particulates, end up out of the trucks and into the ocean and into the communities that they pass as they head to disposal. So this is very, very discouraging. There are a couple of people, including members of Maui Pono Network, pushing for a better system where the more toxic ash is removed and disposed in a different manner than the largest mass of the debris, because there's a very small amount of ash that's actually highly toxic, and so that could be disposed of in a different way, so they're not just thrown in all together. There are farmers right there at Olawalu that are watching how poorly the disposal is going on. I know everybody's doing their best, but if we just followed the protocols that were there, it would do a lot to mitigate the damage that we're causing by moving this debris out of Lahaina. So not great news there. Hopefully you're kind of staying up on that. It hits the news every other day, and there's a lot of people on social media that are posting videos consistently of what's happening there. So although people are watching it, we're not really seeing a lot of action to be better over there. And other things that are happening in the county is we're finding that, we're still in drought, even though the island's really green right now and gorgeous and wonderful. We're not seeing the reservoirs and the watersheds really up to health. We're very obviously still in a drought. This has been a concern. We're seeing requests from the water department for more budget monies put there. There needs to be kind of a renaissance of watersheds on island, that I know that people who are really active in water rights and water action on Maui have been waiting for this, because we've had really good bills come through. We've had the states made some good decisions as far as water usage and watershed health. We're really not seeing this full system change. Those watersheds have got to be healthy. That's how we keep the water flowing. That's how we make it through times of drought and are still able to have water. But also, our reservoirs aren't being filled. We don't really have enough reservoirs to meet the demand. If we had more reservoirs, we could also do better through droughts. So there's a combination of a lot of things. So if you do reach out to your council members, just let them know. Hopefully you're as concerned about water here as I am, but that's something that needs to be addressed. West Side especially is looking at this as they're doing a major rebuild of the whole area, and water has always been a concern. And so for them, they've got to look at what reservoirs are there, what capacity they have for holding water, and the health of those watersheds. These are potentially really great and healthy watersheds. We have not been great stewards of them, however, over the last 120 years. So pushing for that. And then finally, it's always exciting news. I'm not saying it's good news or bad news, but it's always good news when somebody runs for office. There's another person who's put their papers in. His name's Ed Cordelia. Looks like he's a realtor from Pukalani. He's running for the Upcountry County Council seat. We're guessing that Yukile is going to throw her hat in again. I'm sure there'll be other people running up there, but good job, another person. We don't know you, Ed, but we're always glad when people do that. It takes a lot of courage to go out there and run for office. So that's a reminder to everybody. It is open right now for you to go and grab papers and put your hat in the ring. We've had really, really fabulous candidates in the past here on Maui, and we're always looking for people that are willing to give it a try and just be supportive of our local governance and recognize that it's important, and it really makes a difference in our everyday lives on how well the county is run. Again, I'm here on behalf of Maui Pono Network. We would love to hear from you. We'd love to hear what is interesting to you, what other things you'd like us to follow. And as always, our email contains links for other news stories and other county minutes and things that you can look at. But reach out to us on social media or an email, and we hope you have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.